Do you all want to come over a bit closer though? So what we're doing is we're looking for the bend in the head, okay? So we can see that actually around about here, okay? We're going to start to bend in the head here. So that's where we're going to bring our clipper work up to. What you're going to get is you're going to get a weight line that sits above where you've done your clipper work, okay? If we look, for example, on Josh's hair, his clipper's work has been brought up above that bend, hasn't it? If we have a look at the bends around about here on his head, it's been brought up and this is left disconnected. Same as yours. Yours is disconnected, which means it doesn't blend in. Same as Elliot's. Max's blends in though, doesn't it? Around the sides there. Okay? So there's a difference between the two, and it depends on what your client wants as to the effect you're going to give. Okay? So I'm going to get out a grade 4. Just check. Make sure that it's in the right box, especially when you're working. It's not always where they put back in the same thing. Last thing you want to do, your client wants a grade 4 and you go in with a grade 2 because you haven't really looked at what you're using. Okay?
You'll be able to tell though, won't you?
You should be able to.
Because they're quite big.
Yeah.
Grade 4's quite big.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is close, so it's closed down. Okay, so there's no braid on there at all. We're going to put this on. If you have a look, we've got like a little hook underneath our braid. That hooks over the edge of our clippers. If we turn them over, that should snap on. You want to hear that snap to make sure it's on properly, because you don't want to start going through your client's hair and then realise that your braid's not on, it's come off and you've now got a grade 1 on your client's hair. Okay? So we're looking for that bend. What we're doing, unfortunately, on these tuition heads, we can't put their head down, we can't move them round, okay? We've got this bit here which is stopping us getting close. So sometimes on these tuition heads, where you can't get close enough, you end up with a slightly longer edge around the sides here, which is where you're going to use your scissor over comb to take that out, okay? Remember that the hair on these is incredibly straight when you're coming in with your clippers, and that we might not be able to get to this hairline straight away, okay? So what I'm going to do, clipper's always on dry hair because it's an electrical. I'm going to tip the head down slightly. So where's my bend on the head? Round about here we're going to come into. And we're going to follow that right the way round. So when you're clippering, you need to really make sure that you're going over the hair. It's not just once. Okay, we need to keep going over and over till we make sure we've got every little hair. What you'll hear is the clipper, you can hear it working. You can hear if it's cutting, okay? It will be a slightly different noise to when it's not cutting anything, when you've got all of that hair, and when it is cutting through the hair, okay? So we're going to come in with our first section. I normally tend to just hold my finger on the back of the braid, just for comfort, just a habit, always have done, and it's a bit of a safety thing as well, okay? So your side clip here, if you clip that over, your clippers come on, okay? You want to just listen to them, make sure that they sound normal before you go in. I'm going to comb all the hair down, and I'm going to come into my first section. If you just put your foot on the bottom of your stand and come in and cut up, nice and slow. Okay, as you come round, you come out. So you're using this as your guide. So you're coming into the hair at the bottom and then tucking it round with the shape of your clipper guard here. Okay? So if we have a look at that section, you can see we've picked up most of it, we're still missing a bit. So over you go again. It's really important that you go over a few times, especially if your client's got growth patterns in the back of the neck there, because that's when you're going to have to turn your clippers round and go in all different angles to make sure you've picked up that hair. Comb it out again and in you go. So I'm happy with that at the moment. You can see we've got slightly longer bits just on that hairline, like I said there. But you can't get these to move round to the side. You've moved your client's head down so you could get in there flat against the head. And you're just working around. What we don't want to see you doing is working in one area, round to another, back round to there. We want to see you working methodically, okay? And especially when you come to your scissor over comb, you have to work in a good order. Can you hear that noise when they're cutting? So I'm just working round, using my guard as a guide to come out. And as you're coming out, it takes some of that weight line away. If you was to come straight in and not bring it out from the head, you would get a heavier weight line through there. So I'm now going to come over to this side of the head. Again, using my clipper guard as a guide, comb through each time. And you're looking for any longer hairs, anything which pings out, and any lines in the hair. That's where you have to re-go over to make sure you've got all of that out. longer than this, I might tend to come in and actually cut a little bit of length off before, because it tends to jam your clippers up otherwise and you get an uneven cut. So just think about the length that you've got before. As you can see through here, where we've got this length here, I haven't been able to get close enough because of the bend in the head. So just come in again, a few different angles, come closer. But we can always use our freehand cutting and our scissor over comb just to go over that. And you hear that little clicky noise just where you can hear it cutting still. So hairline's the most important bit to go in different directions to ensure you've got all the hair. But what's the growth pattern that's around the hairline? Anyone? Begins with N.
Neck.
Yeah. So we're going to move round to the sides. With the beard, you can either clip them out of the way or just move them out of the way. We're going to move the head up so we can see what we're doing and just over to the side slightly. And we're still following that curvature to the head round there, okay?
Do not set yourself a guideline. So I see people just like
that is
just
your guideline.
They'd cut round and set.
If you've not got a grade on there.
That's what they normally. They just cut a line round and just
Yeah,
use
but
that.
that's for fade work.
Yeah.
And when the hair's down to a 0, you can do that.
Yeah, they just go round.
Yeah, you can cut your guide in round here, and that's what we'll be doing when we do our fades, and that's just after Christmas.
Clipper lines when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. It's the same as anything. You can scissor your comb, over comb through it, and you can clipper over comb through it. Okay? So today's session we're going to do scissor over comb. Next week's session we're going to do clipper over comb. Okay? And I'm going to bring you in one of the combs that I use. I use an Andis comb, and it's a bit like a detangling comb. Okay? So it's a lot larger. You've got more of an area that you can cover, but you've also, it's got no bumps in it. So when you go over with your clippers, you're not going to go bump, 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 line, line, line. It's just going to be a smooth line right the way across. Obviously you've got no softness to these tuition heads either, like you would on a person's head. I'm just in a little line there which I've gone over.
Is this just like a fall all over?
Just round the back and sides, and we're going to go over and work our way round, okay?
I mean, on the top, are you doing a fall, or what are you doing on the top?
The top we're going to scissor cut and scissor over comb into place.
Alright then.
Does it not depend how the head's styled in the first place?
It does, yeah. It depends what your client wants.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Remember, you've got to go through consultation, find out what they want. They might want it clippered all the way over, and that's when you're going to work into your fade working, okay? So remember, around the ears here, obviously we've only got very small ears on our tuition heads, but what you would do is you would move the ear forward, come round the back here, then you would let it go back to where it normally sits, then you would go round to the front here. And we're just going to work our way around. I'm not going to come too far into the beard because I do want to leave some of that length for when we do our beard shaping. Okay? I'm just coming over just to make sure that there's nothing left longer.
Are we blending this in at all, or are we just leaving it like
Yeah, that's
that?
what we're going to do. This is what today's task is. We're going to do the clippers around the back and sides.
Oh, and then just blend
Then
it
we're
in.
going to blend it in with our scissor over comb and with our scissors. Okay? So if we just go over this side now. So this is a really standard haircut that you probably deliver at least a couple of times in the barbers. Obviously around the sides here, we then move the ear out of the way. And we just need to think about what hairline our clients have in left here. We've got some pictures on the board that we're going to go through in a bit of all the different hairlines that we could choose from our client, dependent on whether they want something which is going to grow out, whether they want something which is created, whether they want to follow what's naturally there as well. So you're just making sure that you come around and clip it to the same point on both sides, okay? So we can see now on our tuition head that we've got this weight line sitting where it's slightly longer through here, haven't we? Can you see that just work the way around? Okay, we're going to go around the ears last. That's going to be our last task. First of all, I'm going to just show you how to blend this in, and then you're going to go away and do that part, then we'll go through the top.
You know the
okay?
ears bit? Don't
Yeah.
you use the smaller like clippers?
Yeah, you use the smaller ones and you just tip them to your edge and
They've got
literally just
like
use
a
them.
line thing. They're longer like that. The ones I've seen are like longer and they've got like points and people
Yeah.
use them to like.
To go around there, yeah, you can
Do
do.
lines
You
and
can
stuff
use
like
ones, some of them have only got a very, very small surface area, the neck trimmers. Some of them have got slightly widers, or you can get the ones which are T-liners, which you could use for that as well. So I'm going to do one side. I'm going to show you how to blend it in using your scissors. One side we're going to show you how to do it with your comb, okay? Doing scissor over comb. So you'll find that your scissors for barbering are slightly longer than these ones because they're better, you cover a larger surface area to go over with your scissor over comb. So first of all, just to blend this into a uniform layer through here, we can see where that heavy line is, can't we? Okay, you're going to go straight into your uniform layer through there. So you don't need to section the hair, but what we're doing is we're looking for our length which was graded and anything above that. That is our weight line. Any corners are going to give us weight, okay? That's how much we're going to take off. Then we're going to take part of that, part of our next section. You can see where your guide is, you can see that weight line as well. You can also see where you've graded up. And that's how you're going to blend that line in around the outside there.
So you just use your fingers as the thing.
Your guide's already there. So yeah, you're using your fingers, but your guide's already there. Can you see? If you have a look underneath there, that's what I've clippered.
Yeah.
That's everything above where I've clippered, and that point is your weight line, where it's heaviest. So once we've removed that, we've blended it in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're taking part of our next section, part of our previous. And this is how you can blend in on slightly longer hair where you can't get your scissor over comb in there as well.
It'll take more than one, like going around it once. To
Yeah,
blend it
because
in.
you've got to cross-check it as well, haven't you? But you could always cross-check it via scissor over comb. But you can already see that if you have a look from the side, that then blends in a bit more there. Okay? And you're just going to work your way from one side right the way round, and then if you were doing the other side the same, you'd go back on yourself following that guide. It's easier to see your guide when it's wet down. That's the reason that I've just got the water spray. And you can see that's your 90-degree angle in there as well for your uniform layer. And you're just carrying this right the way to the front there. So to cross-check this, you could either go back round it again, just to come in and cross-check, or you can come in and you can do a little bit of scissor over comb work. Don't worry about that fringe for now. That'll come into play when we do the top part of this haircut. So we could come in, scissor over comb, and we're looking for any heavy lines, anything that overhangs our comb. And that'll be taking that weight out. Just a few through there, there's not too many. I've taken most of that weight out with my scissors. Okay, so that's blending in from there round to here on the corner of the head there. The other option, if we spin it round, is to work scissor over comb. So that heavy part of the fringe, I'm just going to clip out of the way, and I'm going to work in patches. Remember what we said last time, so we're working tiny little segments right the way through. So we're going to come in. There's our clipper work that we've done, and we're going to come in and just tilt your comb out ever so slightly, and you're only ever so slightly moving that up. See how slow that is? It's not taking all the weight out the first time. I'm going to go in again with exactly the same technique. And work my way up. Scissor over comb is going to be one of the techniques that you will rely on. So it's really, really important that you get the hang of this and you can do it well. Remember that blog that we looked at the other week? It was saying that scissor over comb is your key skill. So I'm just working over and over that section. Remember that